Yo, 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 it is your boy, Nayzel versus Wild, and you're listening to another episode of Wolves Sessions. Thank you for tuning in. You're absolutely going to crack up on the session. I'm recording today's session in my house, in my bathroom, because my house is way too packed. There's so many people. We're doing a Christmas celebration today, and I really wanted to get the session out. Today's Sunday, and it's meant to come out Monday. I've left the session really last minute, and these things happen. Every week isn't perfect, but I still wanted to show up for you guys and make sure that I'm staying consistent of releasing an episode every single Monday. So if this is your first time listening, my name is Nayzel Sushil. I'm a full-time creative entrepreneur from South Auckland. I was born in a rural Fijian village called Lambasa, Bunileka, and my mission in life is to write a story that beats longer than my heart. Now, big love to Feature Weddings for sponsoring every single Wolves session. Without Feature Weddings, no Wolves session would come to life. So big love to Feature Weddings. Now, let's get into it. It's going to be a micro session, to be honest. I'm going to make this one short, sharp, simple, and hopefully get across a little bit of value which you guys can apply to your week this week and really get you into the right headspace. Now, and I also need to get out there and start interacting with everybody that's attending our celebration at home. Now, one point that's really been repeating in my head this week is discipline is the greatest form of self-love. And I think there's so much strength in this when we wake up daily realizing that the greatest form of us to be at our fullest movement and also the fullest in terms of making ground in the things that we're going after is realizing that if we can align our discipline to align with understanding that if we can be disciplined over and over again and be consistent enough, it's going to create undeniable proof towards our own self-love. And I think if there's any respect that you can show to yourself, it's to be able to keep a promise day in and day out and show yourself that you've got so much respect for yourself that discipline will always be the greatest form of self-love. And I've been really reflecting on this. And that's why I probably wanted to record the session in my bathroom, because I didn't care. I was like, we're going to get this session out regardless. We're going to show up every single Monday and we're making it happen. So if you're watching this session on YouTube and absolutely cracking up, and if there's a lot of echo, you'll understand. But we're showing up. So that was point number one I wrote in my diary this week. Point number two I wrote in my diary this week is your strategy, your ideas, the way you talk and influence doesn't even matter. Because if you can't articulate your strategy, there's no point. So your strategy is only as good as your ability to articulate it. So I'm going to give you an example with Feature Weddings, actually. Let's jump into that side of the business, which I don't really talk about too much. But we're actually doing a partner celebration on Thursday this week. It's called an end of year celebration. It's all about fostering collaboration in the wedding industry and really helping small vendors, small businesses in New Zealand to really work together as a collective to grow in that space of cultural weddings, for example. And I think a lot of times we get nervous or we get distracted, or even we don't try to collaborate with people because there's a lot of fear of like, oh, this person might be doing better than me, or this person might be doing worse than me. I don't want to partner with them. But there's too much doubt in our minds to be able to collaborate because we're just too scared to even start the conversation. And I think when we realize that collaboration will always take us further, community will always take us further in our business ventures, in our community ventures, and in our own personal ventures as well, because our relationships and connections are far more important to our success. And a lot of times we may take that for granted. And I promise you, it's always been about who knows. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you, right? And I think if you can get people together to really understand that if we work together as a collaborative impact movement, we'll always be able to make better ground as well. So I wanted to really get that point across. Your strategy is only as good as your ability to articulate it. And whatever you're trying to achieve, be able to start with hope and inspiration before you start solving problems as well. So yeah, your strategy is only as good as your ability to articulate it. Now, this next point might sound a little bit unhumble, but I just wanted to get across. Everyone is scared to be number one. I'll rather do it myself. Now, if I say that statement and you're like reacting to it, I just need you to understand that you're not versing anybody when you think like this. You're only versing the person from yesterday, which is you. It's always been you versus you. So go into this week realizing that you can be the best in your craft, in your art, if you truly believe it. Don't let your limiting beliefs stop you from achieving the goals and the impact that you want to create in this world. So you do have the power to be number one, and just say that it's only you versus you out here. And if you can focus on being better than yesterday, you're already halfway there. So yeah, that's point number 3. Point number 4 I wanted to get across is don't be fooled by promises. Actions will always speak louder than words. And I know you've probably heard this, but I want to go back to point number 1. The promises that you make in your life and the goals that you set, if you keep letting yourself down, you're only showing yourself disrespect. Now, I encourage you to don't fall for promises, fall for actions and movements that really make all the impact. So if you're looking up to people, if you're having conversations in circles and environments, and if people are just talking out of their ass and only giving you promises but not showing you the actions behind it, it's probably time to change circles, to be honest. I want you to be around people that make ground in actions and make impact in movements towards actually not just saying things that they're going to do, but actually showing actions. And even if they're showing actions and failing, that's still better than not even trying and just talking shit, to be honest. So I encourage you, don't fall for the promises. Actions will always speak louder. Keep at it and just stay focused in your craft that you're trying to achieve as well. Point number 5 that I wrote in my diary this week. This is a big one. Time is the most irreplaceable asset. If we cannot buy more of it, we can only strive to waste as little of it as well. Time is the most irreplaceable asset. If we cannot buy more of it, we can only strive to waste as little as possible. Hopefully I said that right. And I think a lot of times when we do things on a daily day, when it comes to productivity, we don't realize that we're always going to waste time. But the goal here is to waste as little as possible. And if you can create tangible things like I've been doing, is like literally there's this app called, I think it's To-Do List. It's literally it's like a free app. And I literally write down the night before everything I need to do the next day. And I try to keep it simple, not the big task, but like the real nitty gritty, just to really keep my productivity on hand. And to be honest, this week hasn't been the greatest. We had to shoot a lot of content, a lot of weddings and stuff like that. And I'm shooting this session in a bathroom. But I just wanted to show you and be real. Like, you're not going to be perfect, but if you can organize in a way where you're spending and wasting as little as time possible, because time will always be the greatest asset. And I'm barely surviving this week trying to get this episode released on Monday. But I hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight in terms of why it's so important to really understand that it's not about being perfect every single week, but realizing that if you can maximize your time and waste as little as possible, you'll always be able to make long grounds in the long run. Remember, we don't make goals on a day-to-day or even in a monthly or yearly. We always work in decades here at Be a Wolf. And hopefully you've got the long-term vision in mind in terms of what you're trying to achieve. And I think if you can stay consistent, even if you have bad and off days, but really just realize that it's okay to pull back and realize that, hey, how can I waste less time today? How can I scroll less today? Or how can I be more productive in the thing that I'm trying to achieve? Or how can I work my 9-to-5 job, for example, and do something else that I really care about? And I know if you're probably in the journey of like going after what you truly care about, I think you'll realize that you're going to feel the most happiest when you're actually doing the thing that you really want to do. And if you're in the interim or in the transition phase, which we've talked about a lot of times, I encourage you to set time for the things that mean a lot to you and apply it to your daily routine if possible, wherever you can. Even if you can spend an hour a day towards the thing that you really care about, I think you're already setting yourself up, especially if you're in your early 20s, especially if you listen to the last session, 30 lessons in 30 years. There's so much good stuff in that episode. And thank you for everybody listening to that session, actually. Probably one of the highest listen sessions ever. I don't even know how well this session's going to go, to be honest, because I'm recording it in a bathroom. But I just really wanted to get these 5 points across the chest today. Hopefully that inspires. And remember, discipline is the greatest form of self-love. So keep at it, even if you're failing and absolutely going nowhere. Just keep trying and keep trying to be better than yesterday. And remember, it's always you versus you. Peace and love. I'll catch you guys next Monday. That's a micro session. Done. I better get out of this bathroom. Let's go.